Why was Constantine condemned to hell? With the announcement of the production of Constantine 2, many of us are wondering if the story of this character will once again touch on his origins and his debt with hell. A story that is revealed in the comics and part of it in the first movie. Constantine was born with a gift. He could see the spiritual world, but this gift almost drove him to madness, leading him to do the unthinkable and earning his way into hell. What happens when a young man's hope reaches its limit, and he must use entities that exist beyond his reality to try to save his own soul? The story of John Constantine is not the story of an ordinary hero. In fact, many believe that he will never actually be a hero. He is a character whose motivation has always been to save himself, but perhaps John Constantine's path is destined to save the world. But what did this man do to deserve hell in the first place? Why did Lucifer heal him? In this video, we'll be talking about Constantine's origins, his deals, and what might happen in Constantine 2, now that production has begun. And for more videos of your favorite series and movies, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Welcome to the Oasis Geek. To learn about Constantine's origin story and how he earned his ticket to hell, we must go back to a time in his story before Constantine himself was born. A time when his life began, and he was just struggling to survive. His first big fight against his own twin brother. According to the comics, he ended his twin brother's life with the umbilical cord, something that caused his mother to go into labor prematurely, leading to her death. This event in his family is something that traumatically marked John's father, who blamed him for the death of his brother and mother, something that caused both of them to end up hating each other. So we can say that John Constantine's upbringing was not good, and he was surrounded not only by violence from birth, but that the theme of life and death would be present with him until the end of his days. In some comics, his brother survives and becomes a magician well adapted to society. But what happened then? What does this have to do with Constantine's dark origin? According to the comics, perhaps Constantine was not supposed to be born, and was his brother, but Constantine, by absorbing the life energy of his brother and mother, ended up causing this connection to the spiritual world. The origin of Constantine's powers was the sacrifice of his mother and brother. On its own, this is perhaps one of the darkest character origins of the anti-heroes. But his story doesn't stop there. As John grew up, he began to see demons and angels, and realized that there was a war going on in the world that was happening beyond the physical plane. Behind every door young John opened, he encountered demons and angels asking him for favors, or even spirits and demons taking on the bodies of other people. His father's contempt for the death of his mother and brother, in addition to these constant visions of hell and demons, led young Constantine to do something he should never have tried: to end his own existence. According to the story, only one sin was unforgivable, and that's exactly what Constantine tried. His soul was dragged into the depths of hell, where he began to see people engulfed in fire and a rather dark alternate version of reality. A place so horrible that it could only be described with the words he had heard in church: hell. But while his soul was in that place, someone rescued young Constantine's body and brought him back to life. When Constantine awoke in the hospital, he realized that the visions he was having were not the product of insanity or trauma. Constantine had a special ability, but he understood that he now owed a debt to hell. He had earned his way in, but now he would have to do whatever it took to reach heaven, or at least get even with as many demons as he could. An interesting thing about Constantine's character is that he usually stands apart from the opinions of angels and demons, acting as a free agent. He doesn't mind taking on a demon or an angel if he must accomplish his goals. Constantine understood that being born into this war, he would be part of it and make an impact. But of course, behind all the traumas and crises in John's life, there is a man who has always desired positive change in reality, and who has sacrificed himself in multiple stories. Although he acts destructively towards himself, like smoking constantly, he really does try to make the world a better place. This is where perhaps the contradiction of John Constantine's character comes in, and what makes him so interesting. In a war where angels are considered perfect beings and demons pure evil, a human like John, with flaws and addictions, is willing to sacrifice himself to save the lives of others. According to the story of the first film, during his teenage years, John became addicted to cigarettes as a way to escape, something that would eventually lead him to develop lung cancer, a condition Lucifer was looking forward to. It would be the method he was waiting for to collect the debt for what young Constantine had done. However, while Lucifer waited for the cancer to end Constantine's life so he could claim his soul, Constantine declared war on hell and began performing exorcisms and dealing with demons in an attempt to escape his inevitable end. This is the position in which Constantine's film begins. He has been an exorcist for several years, looking for a way to escape from hell and taking revenge on most of the demons he encounters. During his exorcisms, he usually tells them his name so that they remember him. In hell there are hundreds or perhaps thousands of demons who were trapped by Constantine and are waiting for his soul to be reclaimed. He is perhaps one of the most hated humans by both sides, since it is not only the demons who hate Constantine. But why does Constantine tell the demons his name? When John was young and attempted to take his own life, he mentions that he was officially dead for 2 minutes. But his soul in hell felt as if an eternity had passed. What young Constantine experienced was so horrible that upon his return, he wished to get even with all the demons and help humans escape the influence of these entities. However, the angel's side also tends to hate him because they consider him despicable. A sinful, addicted human, representing the worst of humanity. His preferential treatment is something the angel's side do not accept, which is why it led Gabriel to turn evil in an attempt to wipe out humanity, as he did not understand how God continued to support the actions of humans like Constantine. Gabriel wanted humans to become worthy of God's love. In the film, when John realizes that the one behind the plan to destroy the world is the angel Gabriel, he invokes Lucifer in the most horrible way possible, by repeating the act that had condemned him to hell in the first place. But upon arrival, Lucifer encounters Gabriel and realizes that this angel no longer has God's protection, as his actions no longer represent those of a caring archangel. Lucifer attacks a weakened Gabriel and then offers Constantine a reward for helping him get rid of an old rival. However, what Constantine asks for, rather than a selfless act, was a trap for Lucifer himself. Constantine asked him to allow Isabel to go to heaven, something that was interpreted by God's side as a sacrifice for love, the ultimate act of redemption, automatically granting him his pass to heaven. Constantine had succeeded not only in ending the enemy of humans at that moment, which was Gabriel, by summoning Lucifer, but also in ensuring that Isabel went to heaven. It was a brilliant strategic move, which is why we see him showing his fingers to Lucifer as he ascends, as a way of telling him that he had tricked him by getting what he wanted. However, Lucifer still had authority over Constantine's body. He removed his cancer and extended his life, only to give him another chance to earn his place in hell. Many years have passed, and Constantine still continues to fight demons, trying to stop the end of the world and keep his place in heaven. However, what we will see in Constantine 2 could be the darkest story of this character. The writer of this movie has stated that he is even afraid to read the script, as he knows that there are a lot of expectations with this sequel, and that this time they will not limit themselves so much. They will take advantage of the R rating from the beginning. Being that Constantine is one of the darkest films in the superhero genre and touches on controversial topics, we can assume that this sequel will not only address the issues of Constantine's life ending, but we will also see other sacrifices and explore topics such as his origin with his twin brother. Perhaps we will discover that the story is darker than we thought, or even that the destruction of Earth could come at the hands of Constantine himself. This movie will be the one that will determine whether Constantine truly deserves his entrance to heaven, or if he will be condemned to fight in hell for eternity. In future videos, we will be analyzing the role of these characters in the upcoming movies, and answering interesting questions about this universe. But tell me, what do you think about all this? Will Constantine finally earn his redemption, or will he have to go back to where he was when he was young? And if you want to know more about the universe of Constantine, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. You are on The Oasis Geek.